Hello all you adorable fluff butts out there, Kitthesoulless here, and today we're going to talk about something that I personally find rather important, our community. You see, I've watched our community go from a loving and tolerant place where we celebrate one another's accomplishments and try to lift each other up, to a cesspool of hatred, self-loathing, and suffering, where people try at every turn to tear one another down and ruin their lives. Recently, though, I've seen something else happening, both in our community and with the rest of the world at large, that makes me hopeful for what the future might bring. So sit back, perk up those ears, and enjoy the ride. As some of you may well know, before I found the furry fandom, I was just that weird kid who liked Thundercats and Star Fox, and never really fitting in with any other group because I was too strange. I remember the feeling of community I found when I was welcomed into the fandom, the encouragement I was shown by the people around me when I tried my hands at various art forms, and the friends I made through a shared love of writing and all things fuzzy. I remember feeling for the first time in my life like I was home. I'd found the one place in the world where I actually belonged. This was actually the case for so many of us at the time, since most of us had found the community through a shared love of anthropomorphics, whether we knew what that actually meant or not. From simple fans of Saturday morning cartoons and fantasy novels, to the fantastic creations of madmen and fever dreams that we used to represent who we are inside, we all found a common bond, and regardless of political leaning, religious belief, nationality, ethnicity, or sexuality, we could come together and become part of something unique. This was the community that I fell in love with so long ago, one that helped me to explore who I am inside and to understand that, even if the world is against you, your true friends and family will always be there for you. This community helped make me the man I am today, and despite all the hatred that surrounds me, it's why I still strive every day to be a better person and to help those around me to grow. This community lifted me up when so many others had made me believe that I was worthless, and for that I will always be grateful. Apparently, nowadays my desire to continue the legacy of love, acceptance, and tolerance that had once helped me in this community puts me squarely in a minority. It's become the norm in our community for people to tear each other down rather than try to lift each other up, which to me is more than a little twisted, and it honestly hurts to witness. It seems like every day you can find a new accusation, ranging from unspeakable crimes to petty bickering, and every time it's the same. Someone is calling someone else out for a chance at the spotlight, a chance to be momentarily famous for slaying another monster in our community or ruining another person's life for the sake of vengeance. Without ever really having to look, you can find someone trying to sell you on the idea that our world is corrupt and that everyone around you is worthy of hatred in order to get you hooked on an emotion like a drug, so you'll keep coming back for more reasons and more people to hate. Hatred and distrust have become so commonplace in our community that many of us live in fear of being who we are or speaking our minds because we know there will always be those who would threaten or even harm us for our differences. Some people would even say that our fear is a sign of guilt, or that we need to be shamed into seeing the world as they do. Conformity, exile, or death are the only options for those who oppose the norms set forth by those who believe that we are all guilty until proven innocent. The world has indeed become a dark place, and our community is no different. And for those who want to bring the light of hope to others, sometimes it seems like there's an army there to stop us at every turn. After all, why would anyone allow diversity of thought when the free exchange of ideas and beliefs can be such a dangerous tool against a hateful worldview? Now, for as hopeless as this all might seem, I personally remain hopeful that both our community and the world will eventually make a change for the better. After all, situations like this tend to follow the pendulum theory, a belief that things like political leanings and social norms and such tend to work like a pendulum, swinging from one extreme to another over time, with an area of about a decade in between the two extremes that's generally pretty peaceful. And personally, I believe we've seen the pendulum hit its apex when it comes to things like cancel culture, call-out culture, and general witch hunting. Now, you might be wondering why I think that, and it's because recently it seems like there have been more and more people willing to speak out against these practices, people who recognize that a majority of what's happening with these concepts at the moment is morally wrong. Calling someone out on a smaller scale for the sake of helping them to realize that they may be in the wrong in a certain situation is, after all, far better than calling someone out publicly on a massive platform. Because, let's face it, all that really leads to is that person getting harassed, which shouldn't be your end goal, unless of course you're a massive douche canoe. Personally, my hope is that more people will come to realize this as time goes by, and that more people will eventually be willing to stand up and be vocal about their own beliefs. Now, before we go, I'd like to point out that several people over the last few years have approached me and thanked me for speaking out about topics like the issue with hatred in our community, people who are genuinely unwilling to speak for themselves for fear of what others might do to them and the people they care about. Now, to those of you who have, and you know who you are, so I won't be naming names, I hope you all one day find the courage to speak out as well. But until then, understand that there are so many people like you. Know that you are not alone. You should never have to live in fear.